then we'll be able to hear you. And this session is being recorded. So if you or anyone else in the classroom here needs to review part of a class or the whole class, whatever it may be, it's available to you. All right, I'm going to share my screen right now and get started here. This out of the way. All right, that's good. And then we're going to go into our class. So here is our Canvas course. I want to say I like to walk around the room. So, but right now, just while I'm doing this and doing a lot of work right from this particular location, so just bear with me. All right, so here is our home page. Here's our landing page where we go into the course. I have a section, start here, course overview. Please go ahead and take a look at that and then go right into the modules. You can go into the modules from here or from here. All right, and then so here is an overview. This is just a brief welcome message from me. There's some information here if you need some assistance with navigating Canvas, understanding the global navigation bar, which is over here, and then the course bar, which is over here. And it's like things are a little off here. Here are our learning outcomes from this course. So you can understand what we're going to be doing here. As you can see, most of our work is lower level Bloom's taxonomy terms like identify, differentiate, explain. Create is something more a significant step up in Bloom's taxonomy learning. And classify can be either or, but most of it is identifying, differentiating, explaining, writing, that sort of thing. So we want to understand, because it's an introductory course to entrepreneurship, we want to understand what entrepreneurship is about. But we do have some deliverables in this course as well. But I promise you, I will make them fun and you will enjoy it. So there's no pain here in this course. Okay, it is a lot of fun. The grading breakdown here, as you can see, it's 100% scale, of course. We have 8 assignments. Some of them you don't even realize they're assignments because they're really fun. We have 5 quizzes. One of them is actually just a discussion entry. So, and they're not strenuous quizzes. Okay, so don't be worried about it. Is anyone here suffering from test anxiety by any chance? No one. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, we have one person, just one person, that's all? Oh, all right, so we have 2 that are admitting it, right? Well, I suffered from serious test anxiety when I was in college. Serious test anxiety where any slight sound, like even the sound of the air conditioning right now in here, would bother me. So I really struggled with it, and it took me a lot to overcome that and become comfortable and relaxed. So what I have done as a result of going through that, living through that, I make the quizzes and tests fun and engaging, and they're not like the normal quizzes and tests. We do have 3 exams. All right, so we have some minor quizzes that are fun to do, and I do reviews on every one of them. And then we have exams. Now, I want to get your input on this. What I can offer you 2 options for the exams. So you can agree to have the final exam and all 3 exams, right? We have 1, 2, 3 exams, all 3 of them in the classroom together as a class. Or you could take it alone. I see some smiles like, I like that idea. So the reason I do this is because I found that students get very tense and anxious about exams. Just the word exams starts to get a little bit cringe. And it did the same for me, you know, when I was in college. But if you take it with the class together, of course you're prepared for it. We have a review sheet that you'll complete before the exam. You can bring that review sheet to the exam with you, and you can look at that. And then as a question comes up, I'll pull up a question right here on the board. And Chris, if you can make the exams, please come into the classroom with us and you can participate with that. And so what I'll do is pull up the question. You can read the question, and then we can have some debate in the classroom as to what the answer may be. Now, what's interesting about that is that One, you may have a different opinion over someone else and you explain your point of view, is one. Secondly, you actually remember the information as opposed to taking an exam by yourself and then later on, how much do you really retain from that? Very little. There's a lot of research on that, very little retention. Whereas this really provides you with some sustaining learning. You actually learn from the experience. It's a fun experience. And sometimes students get very heated about their opinion about the answer. And it can be a lot of fun. So, it's enjoyable, and the students that have gone along with taking the exam together in the class really enjoy the experience. There are some people who really just prefer to take the exam alone. So you have the option. You can take it with the class, or you can take it alone. So it's your opinion. It's your option on that. All right, so we have 3 of those, and the course is broken down into 3 sections, and that's where we have the exams. And I'll show you that when I go through the syllabus. Attendance is 10% of the grade, and so you'll be attending either here. Chris has an exception and can attend through Zoom, and the rest of you will attend in the classroom. If for some reason you have some kind of an issue and you're unable to attend class here, you will need to reach out to the director of the School of Entrepreneurship to get an exception to go into a Zoom meeting. Okay, but hopefully you'll want to be in the classroom here together with us. We'll have a lot of fun together this brief 6-week period. All right, so here I have the grade breakdown. Everybody always wants to know about the grade, you know, so I'm you will see I'm not a tough grader, but I'm not a wimp either when it comes to grading. I have you really work for yourself and really, you know, you're responsible for your own learning. All right. And then don't be frightened when it says 8 assignments. It's like, oh my God, 8 assignments in 6 weeks. They're really manageable. They're a lot of fun. 4 of them are just discussion posts, and they're a lot of fun to do. And what I found is that I did have all written assignments last semester. And I always get input from the students. What can we do to make the class better? So halfway through, I'm gonna ask you, how is it going? How can we change it to make it better? And so students told me we really like more discussions and more interaction. So the discussions do take place on the discussion forum. And we will have some discussion in the classroom as well, but most of the discussions for the grading will take place in the discussion forum. So you'll write out your answers. Now, you can write out your answer, you can videotape yourself with the answer, or you can audio tape yourself for the answer. So it doesn't have to always be in writing. It's up to you. So I would give you the option, carte blanche. What do you want to do here? Okay. So what fits for your learning? All right, let's see, what else? I do use announcements from time to time when something important has come up. You know, you'll want to set and make sure you have your announcements set to notify you through your email. So please go ahead and do that. There are a lot of student resources, and you can reach those through the help and resources global navigation bar over here. Course technologies, you know, of course you need a computer, you need some other information here. We do use Microsoft Word. So if anyone has a Mac, please download Microsoft Office. And we do have it right here, Office 365. Just go ahead and download it if you don't have it. And download it. You know, you can actually download it and keep it on your computer rather than doing it in the cloud. So you can actually download it, have it, you'll always have it. Once you leave FGCU, you won't be able to upgrade it, but while you're here, you'll be able to upgrade it on your computer. Okay, next. Let's see here. Just some strategies for success, and I want to take a look at that. You want to certainly be mindful of our calendar, and because this is an accelerated course, only 6 weeks, I'm going to go ahead into the modules and show you what we have here. So first off, I have the start here, getting started. Now here, this is just the course overview we just came from on the home page. Just in case you land in the modules instead of the home page, I have it here just in case. Here's some information about me that you can learn a little bit about me here. If I select it, you can see this is actually only 5 years old, even though I probably look like I'm 24 here. It was a good photographer. It's amazing what they can do. Little touch up here and there, and all of a sudden, you know, you're 24 years old. Okay, but anyway, I teach also at New York University in the Graduate School of Business. And I teach research process and methodology. And it's a fun course. Students really may not like it. It's like learning a new language. Here, this course is a lot easier. It's just like, wow, you start learning about things in entrepreneurship, like, oh, I make that connection. I understand what's going on here. It's not like learning a new language. You're really just going with the flow in this course. It's a lot of fun. I also taught at Nyack College, School of Business and Leadership, which is in Nyack, New York. I taught Manhattan and several of the boroughs there, and downtown Manhattan on Broadway, where we had a campus there. I also taught at Florida Southwestern State College here, our sister college, where a lot of students come from FSW to FGCU. And I started their entrepreneurship program there. And so then I wound up here because I wanted to grow with a lot of my students that I'm actually teaching in some of the courses. So it's a lot of fun. So I have some information here on my teaching philosophy. I do really believe in having fun in the classroom. That's really important because I think it really ties into sustained learning when you're having fun and you're enjoying yourself. I don't really do an enormous amount of lecturing. You're going to hear maybe 20 minutes at a time. Right now, today, I'm going to be lecturing a lot because I'm giving you information on the course and what to expect in the course. But typically, when we get into the modules, it's about 20 minutes at a time, and then we go into doing different things. All right. So what else? Next, we have 2 books that are required for the course. So we'll give you a bit of information here. The All-In Startup book, it's about that thick. And we start reading it in the second part of this 3-part course. And you will be reading chunks of it at a time. It is written like a novel, so it's enjoyable to read. You don't have to read it, but you need to understand what's in the book. Okay, you need to understand, so you need to either go find the book on tape or find enough information about the book and the characters in the book to be able to answer the questions on the quizzes and then the exams. All right, the Creator's Code is a very brief book, very interesting read, but you can also, this book is also available on tape. You can go to YouTube, you can just download enough information on YouTube to be able to answer all the questions as it relates to the quizzes and tests on the Creator's Code. I like the read of the Creator's Code, and for the All-In Startup, I like some of the lessons that are from the book. What I don't like about it is that it focuses a lot of attention on gambling, alcoholism, adultery, and things that I really would prefer not to include in my teaching. This book was adopted by the school, so we teach it, but I do a very nice review on the book before each exam, so you will have good information there, but I'd like you to find out some information on your own if you choose not to read the book. If you like a novel and you enjoy reading, by all means, please enjoy it if you don't mind the other components of that book. If they can see through the problems associated with the book. All right, so let's move on next. We do have a couple of written assignments. And I do require you to write your assignments in APA 7th edition format, right? So I have some good grammar resources here for you because I do expect college level writing. Here, formal versus informal English. This is a really good website here. You can go, you can see when you're starting to think informally, how do you change the words to have more of a formal representation? So take a look at that. Here, we don't use personal pronouns when we're writing. It's a technique that sometimes takes a little time to master. But when you start eliminating personal pronouns, your writing becomes more formal automatically. And you will see that that does have a good, good result, you know, from following that. So here's some good information on that as well. You do not want to end a sentence with a preposition. I see that very often. And so you want to be mindful, well, what is a preposition? What really is a preposition? If you've forgotten about that from grammar school, you know, we don't want to end a sentence that way. So be mindful of that as well. And we do have the FSW Writing Lab. If you really struggle with your writing, that is someone that can help you. So go ahead and reach out to them for assistance. I like this because I think this is fun. It's 40 incorrect used words. You can go to the website for this. They're a little harsher with their explanation of what it is. But it's really good to understand certain terms, adverse, averse, you know, effect, you know, different terms that you may, well, did I get that right? Let me just check back and take a look at. So there's some good things on here, and some of them you may have thought, oh, I wasn't sure that I had that right, but it's a good resource. All right, next. There are a lot of resources and support available to you as a student at FGCU, so please go ahead and take a look at those if you're wanting any of those resources. A lot of good resources there. Service learning, is anyone involved in service learning? Okay, so you will require it for, you know, I know if you're going for a degree in entrepreneurship, you do require a service learning component. Depending on what school you're with and where your major, I don't know if you require or not, but if you do, then here's some basic information and some helpful hints on service learning. There's another one also regarding service learning. And then when we move on to the next, I ask you just go back to modules. You can take a look at this separate module. So here we've gone through everything here with the Start Here section and resources, the service learning. And then now I ask you to please just acknowledge these items here, that you will not plagiarize. Okay, just a very quick answer. It's actually designed as a quiz, but it's just a quick yes, I will not, you know, understanding what plagiarism is and you will not plagiarize. That you follow the honor code, that you will look at the syllabus schedule and that you acknowledge the module schedule, and I'll show you the modules as we go through here. And then that you will complete the setup, Canvas notification and preferences. Okay, so just want to be able to get announcements and some other things set up there. So it's probably take you 5 minutes to get through that acknowledgement section. Some of you have already done it. Thank you. So now here we are in module 1, and then you can see, oh, no, they're not. Here are all the other modules. And what I'm going to do quickly, though, is go over to the syllabus and show you that. Actually, I'm going to take it from here because it shows a little bit larger. Okay. And so you can see we have all our basic information on here in the syllabus overview. Here again are the textbooks, same information I already showed you. Breakdown of the grades, the learning outcomes and the assessments and how they tie in with the school, the program, the course, and then how you are being assessed. And then some other information here. And then we have our schedule. So this is what I really want to pay attention to, because this is what we're going to be working on the next 6 weeks. So here is our first class on the 18th. And I'm doing an overview of what you can expect from this course. But then I'm also going to go into module 1, which is what is entrepreneurship. I'm going to go over that. And then what's required is in the CC readings, right? That's the creator's code. The other one is the AIS right here. That's the all-in startup reading. So the AIS is the introduction in chapter 1. So you want to be able to read that before our next class. There is an attendance survey I ask you to complete. I'll go over that. It's in module 1. And create a video introduction of yourself so that And I know somebody emailed me and asked me, hey, you know, is this really going to be a ground course? Because there's a video introduction. I'm getting nervous now. Is this going to be an online course? No, it's not. It's a ground course. We have one person in Zoom with us. Thank you, Chris. I hope you're still listening there. And
Yeah, I'm here.
oh, great. Thanks, Chris. Okay, and so, but what I'd like to do is, you know, we see each other now. There's only a few of us in here, but it's great when you do a video introduction, you mention something about yourself, and then people can go back and look and say, hey, what did that person do again? What is it? That person's working? What's their major? You know, what are they about? And so it helps us to get to know each other a little bit better. Plus, Chris is in our Zoom meeting, so then he can actually form relationships with all of us as well. And we can understand Chris, and we can understand who Chris is and what he is about. All right, and then we have one assignment, which is a very simple assignment. I'll go over that with you. And then we have one quiz, which is actually you take a quiz online and then you just write about your results. Okay, very simple. But here, this will tell you each module. We have 1 through 15 modules, then we have our final module, which is the final exam. But each module will be included within a certain date. So Thursday's class will actually have module 2 and 3. Okay, so we'll need to do both of those for Thursday's class. But we do have almost 3 hours together, or 2.5 hours. 2 hours, 25 minutes. 3 hours, oh no, it starts at 11:30 and we go to 2:55, right? So we're 3.5 hours. We have a lot of time. So we have plenty of time to cover this information. I promise you I will not lecture for 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Will not happen. I'll lose my voice. All right, but anyway, so you get a feel for what the schedule will be. All right, and then you can see they're broken down. Like here, this is the foundations of entrepreneurship, modules 1 through 5. Then we go to the principles of the entrepreneurial mindset, and that's module 6 through 10. And then we're actually applying the principles in 11 through 15. And then the last one you can see, the basics of business finance. It's actually business finance and accounting, but don't be frightened about that because it's fun. And I promise you, you will not feel intimidated by any of the information in this course. Okay, so here is the layout of what we're going to be covering. And the reading that's required, this is a separate reading here, it's a separate document in Canvas, but everything else has the chapters that are required for the 2 textbooks. All right, so are there any questions on the syllabus? Good. All right, so let me go back to the course. We're in module 1. The first part of module 1 is, and I know this might look like an online course because it's set up for someone to just jump right in and get the work done online. And all our assignments are submitted online. Okay, so it is set up that way. But this course, I'm also submitting this course for a high quality review, which means it needs to have an online component to it. All right, so here for the overview, it's just a very brief overview of what we're going to cover in this module. And without going into much detail, we have the course level objective that's associated with this module. This one happens to be identifying the social and economic impact of entrepreneurs in society. So here are our module level, so module 1 level objectives for this module. And this is what we're going to be working on, these 3 objectives in this course. The next item, and you can see the alignment here. So each of these modules align with the course level objective, CLO course level, with each of the module level objectives. And then we have activities, and then we have assignments due for this module. So I hope you find it a nice clean layout that you can follow. What we'll do is here's the reading. that's required, and it has the alignment, which module level objective it works with, so you can see how everything aligns. And then the assignments, how they all align, again, with the module level objectives. All right, so all the activities, the assignments, as well as any tools that we use in the course, all must align with our module level objectives. Yes?
What does BLSI stand for?
Okay, so that is an assessment test that we're going to be doing.
Oh.
And that's a good question. So I'm going to be going over that with you.
Okay.
It's sort of like an entrepreneurial assessment to see which quadrant you fall into as an entrepreneur.
Oh, okay, fill that out online.
You will do it all online.
Okay.
It's all done online, and then you will just write about it I'll show it to you.
Okay.
You'll write about it in a discussion forum. All right. Okay, so this is how each module is laid out in the very beginning. So it has a nice overview. It explains what you're going to be doing. You can look at this and say, okay, this is what I need to do. These are my activities that I have to focus on. Here are my assignments to complete by the due date. And so I want to show you the due dates for everything, right? So we want to look at those, and the due dates are in Canvas. The first thing is I have the PowerPoint slide deck, and I'm going to go over that information with you afterwards. We're ready to do module 1. And then, so we have this information here. Then, and every module starts out that way. There are videos, there are links to maybe articles, there are links to different things that I ask you to look at. Now, most of the stuff we're just going to be doing in the classroom, but I want you to be able to have it available in case you want to look at it again. So I keep it in the course room there for you under that module. So we have several different things. Most of these are very brief, 2 or 3 minutes. Some are a little bit longer, but useful information. So here's the video introduction. Actually, this has just changed in Canvas. So this doesn't apply anymore. I'm going to have to actually do one and then provide you with the right screenshots for to upload or record a video. Has anyone recorded a video of themselves in Canvas? Anyone? One person. Okay. All right. Was it the old way, this way? Yeah. So this has just changed. So I have to update this. So I'll do that later today. And then so you'll have that available to you. And I ask you just 45 to 60 seconds at the most, just give us some basic information about yourself so we know a little bit more about who you are. And please do it as a video so we can see you. That way when we see you in the classroom, we can say, oh, that's that person. Yes. All right. All right, so next. So we have several different things we're working on. There is an attendance verification survey. We ask you to please, it's just a very brief, you look it up, put in the information, and then you just add that you completed the information here when you've done it. You just click the link, follow the instructions. It'll take you 5 minutes at the most to do this, maybe 2 minutes. Very, very quick. And we ask you to do this, just give us the information. And that applies to your, if you're taking financial aid, then that applies to attendance verification for financial aid. Separate from being in the classroom for attendance or in Zoom. Okay, so I put this in here in the very beginning of module 1. This is exam 1 review sheet. This is due in module 5. It's at the end of the first section. Remember I had module 1 through 5 is the first section of the Intro to Entrepreneurship. So what you'll do is just download this. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here you can see it. There are 26, I believe, 24 line items here. And what you'll want to do is pull it up so you can see it in Word. It's in Word, so you can manipulate the document easily. Here, how do entrepreneurs create value? Well, we're going to be talking about that today. So whatever information that you've acquired from the lecture, the activities, the assignments, the information, how do entrepreneurs create value, you want to include that information there. So just type in the information as it pertains to how entrepreneurs create value. All right, here, and then you'll see the next, the 6 essential skills of how and how they apply to entrepreneurs according to Amy Wilkinson. Amy Wilkinson is the author of the Creators Code textbook. So we need to know those 6 essential skills that she mentions in the book. If you don't have the book and you're not ready to read the book, please, I encourage you to go to YouTube and download a good lengthy review of the book so you can get the information. There are some, she's also done a lot of talks and she goes into her book in detail, but make sure you have the complete book, that you have all the information. And then so on and so on. You can see that, so you want to include that information. This could be 6 line items and then the information as it relates to them. But if you do this during each module, it's not overwhelming in module 5 to actually write this all up. And then this review sheet you will bring with you, whether it's on, on your computer or a hard copy, to the final exam. And then you can take the final exam with the review sheet, having the review sheet. You do get credit for the review sheet too. It's part of the final exam grade. So it's depending on which exam, it's like 20, 25 points for completing the review sheet, and then 100 points for the exam itself. So it's significant. All right, so you'll want to have this ready to go, download it, print it, whatever you want to do, have it ready to go on your computer, and then complete this information each week as we go along, or each module as we go along. All right, and I provide this at the very beginning of each section of modules so that you can start it right away. So here is our first assignment. It is the Gapminder research, assignment 1. And so what you're going to do is just very briefly read the information here. There are 5 discussion questions. This is a discussion assignment. So you will first visit this website. You will read this information. You will complete this information, and then you'll just answer the question. Very simple process, but it should be enlightening. It's interesting information. Dollar Street is another one. You'll go to this website, and then you're going to follow the instructions, very simple instructions, and then you're going to answer these questions. The last one is you're going to visit this website, and then you're answering this question. This is a video here, just viewing the video on the website, and then you're answering this question. Then we're following the discussion forum guidelines. This is, you don't have to worry about APA here in the discussion forum. I don't enforce APA in the discussion forum at all. So you don't have to worry about that. I think there's just one, no, there are no discussions with APA. So don't worry about it. You don't have to address anything like this student believes this or this student that. You don't have to go there. Just speak as you normally would, but please use formal academic college level language. Don't use slang or lowercase I describing yourself. We still need to use appropriate college level writing. Okay, then I ask you to respond to 2 peers. So now this is due before Sunday for you, for the due date. And then by Sunday, I ask you to respond to 2 of your peers. You believe me, you will find information to write about when you read out somebody else's report on this information, because it's so interesting. All right, so then we've done that. There is a rubric associated with all the discussions and the assignments. How to find it is you go with the 3 dots at the top right of this page over here. Select that, and then show rubric. Unfortunately, this is the way Canvas works. And then here you can see how I will grade you on this discussion post. If you don't reply to your peers, you will not get full credit. If you don't use college level writing, you will not get full credit. And then if you don't cover all the requirements for the assignment, you will not get full credit. Okay, so it's pretty simple, cut and dry. So you know how to get that information. And then here, now this is the BOSI. You asked me about this, right? So the BOSI assessment. So what you do is you're going to watch this video of Joe Abram. Actually, he wrote a really great book on entrepreneurial DNA that explains all of this, but get the information from his TED Talk, which is great. So you will go ahead, view the video. You really need to view the video first because then you get a good sense of what it's about. After that, then you select this, the bosidna.com test, and you're going to test yourself. What category do you fall into? And then I ask you just to post your results. There's no response to peers here. It's just posting your results. So we just like to see, well, what type of an entrepreneur are you? Okay, so it's really just taking the test and posting the information here for the class to see. I have a citation or clarification station. And what this is if, when you finished everything, if you have any outstanding questions, please post them here and I will address them. Or if someone else in the classroom knows the answer, please feel free to answer those questions. When someone has a question and something comes up that's just not clear for whatever reason, and if there is someone else in the class that will answer the question before me, then I give you just a little bit of extra credit. And sometimes when you get to the end of the course and you're just a little short from one grade to the next, you get the bump up. Okay, so it's really just helping someone. It's volunteering to help someone. That helps you in the real world too. When you're volunteering to do things and help people, you get credit for that. So I give you credit for it. All right, and that's the end of the first module. All right, so now what we're going to do, then we go into the next module, right? So module 2 and the objectives. So what I'd like to do now though, since now we've got a feel for what we're doing, right? You know, a little bit about me. I'd like to do some introductions. Chris is here, everyone's here, so we're good to go, right? Yes, everyone is here. Okay, so can we start over here? And could you please, face the room and then just tell us you're here. What we're going to do is pretty much go with what we had on here, right? About introducing yourself. Just give us a quick information, like what is your major, your academic history, whether, where you come from, any personal hobbies you may have, anything, family pets information you may want to share, something interesting about yourself.
Hey, my name is Andrew. I am an entrepreneurship major, so this is my first class in the program. This past semester was actually my first semester here. I'm a transfer student. Originally I was doing like business as a major, but I just found this more interesting and engaging for me personally. Hobbies, like we been reading a lot of entrepreneur type books lately, so that's pretty cool. I don't know, I'd hang out with friends and just have a good time.
Great, thank you so much, Andrew. And where did you transfer from?
A small private school in Central Florida.
Okay, good, thank you so much.
Which one? Do you mind telling us which school?
Beacon College.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a small school.
I've heard of it.
I'm Julie. I'm an entrepreneurship major. I'm a sophomore now, and I'm from Florida. Yeah. That's it.
Any hobbies?
No,
Anything particular you like to do outside of
I love
school?
scuba diving.
Oh, that's a good hobby.
Yeah.
Do you do do you dive for lobsters, doing a lobster week in the Keys?
My sister has her like verification thing. So that's cool.
Oh, wow. So are you going to be going for that yourself?
No.
No, okay, but you like doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, super. Thanks, Julie. Okay. Could you repeat your name? Stephanie?
Yes.
Okay.
I like to play my guitar for fun,
I can't really hear you too well.
I like to play guitar for fun, and I like to play soccer.
Oh, wonderful. So guitar and soccer.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Hi, my name is Morgan. My major used to be psychology, but I switched to entrepreneurship.
alter the clothes, make them like my own pieces. And I have 3 cats.
Oh, wow, 3 cats, that's a lot. Okay, so I love thrifting too. I think it is great because you're like the master of recycling,
Yes.
right? So instead of something going into, the dump or into to trash, you're actually doing something new with it. So thank you for that, Morgan. Thanks so much. Okay,
My name is Michelle Ivanoff. I am a transfer student. I started out my college career in 1984. So I'm picking back up now in the entrepreneurship studies major. I'm a junior. And I moved to Naples in 2004 from New York. I grew up on Long Island. And I have 2 children, go here. And I love to paint in my spare time. I made my Lanai art studio recently. And I'm excited to be here.
oh, wow, that's wonderful. Okay, so Michelle, I have some questions for you. So where on Long Island?
Suffolk County, Hopog.
Okay, so my fiance lived in Malvern, which was, Nassau County.
Yes,
Nassau County. Okay, so I'm very familiar with Long Island. Drivers are very interesting there.
Oh, my
Very
goodness.
different than Southwest Florida.
Truth.
Yeah, and so I was also a non-traditional student. So when I left high school when I was 16 years old, as soon as I was able to quit high school, I did. And because my parents were like, you have to get out of school and work right away, go right into the workforce. But like we grow up with what our parents, what their beliefs are. So here I quit school and I started working in a coffee shop as a waitress and realized that I did not want to do that any longer. I did it for a little bit of time, 6 months, and I was like, I cannot do this for the rest of my life. So I went back to school, of course, and I got a little bit of schooling, but then I decided to open up a business of my own. I started some businesses and then always wanted to go back to school. And it was always one of those burning desires, but life gets in the way and you're doing things, and then children come into play. And then I said, that's it. If I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And so I went back to school and I got on that treadmill and I didn't get off. I stayed on it for 10 years. Wow. So just kept on going, right, to get my doctorate. So 10 years of higher ed. But it was a lot of fun. And it's really the adventure along the way that's really so exciting. The people you meet and I met some fabulous professors and some great classmates, and just had a lot of fun during that time. And it was terrific. When I finally finished, I was just like, you know what? I still take courses and do things. It's like never ending. You're always learning new things and wanting to apply yourself somehow. It never ends. So thank you so much, Michelle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm an accounting major, also a junior. I like to play golf a lot. I'm not too good at it though, but we'll get better, I guess.
What was the hobby you said?
Golf.
Oh, golf, yeah. Yeah, you need time on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard when you're a student because, being a student takes up a lot of time. And are you working also?
Yeah, I work at that High Regency on Coconut Point. I have anything.
Yeah, that's a nice hotel. All right, Josh, thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Austin. I'm a psychology major. I'm a senior. I'll graduate in December, so I'm almost done, which is why I'm here, filling a bunch of empty credits. So you get me. I also work at the High Regency. I don't want to flex, but I'm kind of Josh's boss. I have a cat. His name's Shredder. It's kind of crazy. He was a stray. He's got a lot of weird stuff about him. I guess that's it. I want to do real estate when I graduate, which is another thing that doesn't make any sense, but
I'm a realtor.
we're trucking on.
All right, so you're a realtor, and what did you want to do in real estate?
Just sell.
Oh, you want to say a realtor? You want to be a realtor? Okay.
My aunt's got like this whole thing going up in Georgia.
Oh, so you might go up there and
I might,
Get involved.
really, everything's so hot down here. though,
it's
so-
hot in a lot of places.
Exactly, so, and I know a lot of people in this area who are into real estate, so we'll see what happens. I may
Okay.
move, I may not.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I was a real estate agent, I've done a lot of things, right? So I was a real estate agent. I was licensed in Florida when I was in my late 20s, when I was here, living here. And then I moved back to New Jersey because everybody was so old down here back then. Now I sort of fit in, but they were like really old. There were very few young people there in their 20s back then, very, very few. But so I moved back and I kind of missed the changing seasons. I don't miss them at all now. I really like summer all year round. So, but I went back there and I got involved in, instead of real estate, I went into the mortgage business because while I was a real estate agent here in Florida, the mortgage bankers were coming into my office and they were only there 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And I was working my butt off every single day of the week, day and night, right? Weekends, all the time, right? All the time. You're always on. So I decided to go into the mortgage banking field instead. So I went up there, I worked for a couple of different companies, and then I started my own business. So I had that entrepreneurial itch, right? The problem is when you're an entrepreneur, your business is 24/7. That's just the way it is. So when you devote yourself to your business, you live it. And you don't really turn it off. It's always there. It doesn't mean that it gobbles up your life, but it's always in the back of your mind. There's always something going on and you're thinking about it. You don't just shut that off like you do a 9 to 5 job, unless you have entrepreneurial skills and you want to apply that entrepreneurial process, right? So you're working for someone with entrepreneurial skills. All right, so yeah, very interesting. So I did that, but then what I want to do is we had our real estate crash. So I was still living up in New Jersey at the time, and my cousin who lived down here in Florida, in Sarasota, called. She says, Anita, why don't you come down here? She said, I'm buying a house for $35,000. And I said, $35,000? You know, I was living in a house where my taxes were more than that per year. Right? So how can that be? Right? So, you know, Long Island taxes are insane, right? New Jersey, I lived in Union County, they were crazy also. And my taxes were $45,000 a year. And I had just a kind of sort of a average house, nothing spectacular. Some of the other houses were close to $100,000 a year. There were some houses that were $50,000 a year, not too far from me. Taxes. So anyway, she said, I got this house and I want to fix it up for my mom, but my mom decided to buy in another place instead. Do you want to flip this house with me? I'm like, I'm in. So I came right down. And she and I had already been doing some flipping of houses up in New Jersey. And then down here, it was a totally different scale. So then I started flipping houses. So I've been doing the house flipping thing for a number of years. And I usually do like 3-4 a year. So I like that. Better than being a real estate agent.
It's a good step. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see it being something that.
You can do both though.
It's fine.
All right, super. Okay, thank you, please.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm also a transfer student. My major is entrepreneurship as well. I have a pet that I adopted in September. She's turning 1 next month. Something interesting about myself, I'm directionally challenged, and that is where I was like today. So I'm glad I made it.
Directionally challenged.
Yes, ma'am, very much so.
So
I left kind of thing.
yeah, left, right.
No, I just parked in the wrong garage and didn't
Okay.
realize it until I was walking out of it, and I saw the liquor, and I was like, wait, where am I? So.
Yeah, but that can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
That happens to me too.
Yeah.
So,
I was like,
Maddie.
I have garage too. I swore the sign said garage too, but whatever. I'm here.
So Maddie, were you in my class last semester?
I was.
thought so.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was.
good. Okay, super.
I actually am withdrawing from all my classes from last semester because I don't know if you remember, I had surgery, so
I know, I'm
was
sorry.
unable to walk for a month and a half and then couldn't drive. So yeah, that was a mess, but I'm trying to catch up. That's why I'm starting back here.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. Glad to be
Super.
here.
Okay, great, Maddie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And are you an entrepreneurship major?
Yes, I am.
You are, okay, great. Okay,
Okay.
last but not least.
I'm Rebecca. I'm a communications major. I'm also a senior here. I'm 21. From CP, I graduated from CP High School, and I have a cat at home as well. And something interesting about myself. I like to travel, and I guess I'm adopted as well, so I guess that's something interesting about myself.
Okay, that's super. So you like, hopefully we'll get back to traveling very, very soon.
Yeah.
So that'll be really nice. Okay, Rebecca, what is your major?
Communication.
Oh, communications. Okay, great. Okay, super. And then now we have Chris. Chris, would you mind putting on your webcam for us?
Yeah, I'm turning it on.
Okay, super.
You guys hear me?
We can hear you, but we just can't see you.
You see me now? My screen just went black.
We can see you now, Chris. Thank you.
Alright, cool. I'm Chris. I'm from Miami. I'm a transfer as well. I'm an entrepreneurship major and I like to skydive. That's my hobby.
You skydive?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. You ever
Alright.
done it?
I have, actually, I watched the, what was his name? That funny guy. He's really, really funny. James Carey, is that his name? Carey? Something Carey. Carey, he did the Yes Man?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, that's a Jim, sorry. I had the last name right anyway. So Jim Carrey was in the movie The Yes Man. Does anybody remember that? He had to say yes to everything. And so I watched that movie and I thought, how interesting to really, you find yourself saying no to things a lot, And I thought, how interesting would it be just to say yes? Well, I decided to do that. And so someone from one of my colleagues has said to me, hey, you know what? We should really get a bunch of us together and go skydiving. Would you like to do that? And I said, yes. So we went skydiving. It was the scariest thing I'd ever done.
It's fun though.
Oh my gosh, you tethered onto someone the first time you go. Well, I only went once,
Yeah.
so not for me. But I'm tethered onto some guy, first of all, you jump out of a plane, and then I'm like, why did I leave that nice warm plane to do this? And I'm out in the middle of nowhere, strapped onto some guy, and then the wind is so forceful that it just, look, your face is like this.
Yeah, you can't even breathe.
You can't breathe. There's so much wind. You can't even
And
catch
it's
a breath.
cold.
Right? Oh, and it's incredible. And then finally, he pulls the parachute, and I'm like, I can breathe again. Oh, I can take a breath. So there I am finally breathing, but I'm petrified. I grab a hold of those shorts that he's wearing and hanging onto them. But you know what? Those shorts could just fall right off him, and I'm hanging in the air with these shorts dangling in my hands, right? That doesn't work too well. And then he's like, we finally get to land. And he said, ma'am, you have to let go of my pants because I need them to land. That was very scary. And how many times have you done it?
Well, I'm in the process of getting my license right now. So I've done about 8 jumps now, but I know people who've done 4,000 and 10,000 and so on. So long way to go.
Has anyone here skydived and jumped out of a plane?
I bungee jumped.
That's not the same.
No, that's as much as that's about as much adrenaline as I need.
And that's a lot of adrenaline.
It actually was,
Yes.
and I was young and
Yeah.
was happy.
Yeah. Yeah, so my brother was airborne in the Army way back when, and he said they had to pack their own parachutes. And he said he was always made sure his was perfect, because he said he saw some of his colleagues come out and the chute did not open.
Oh.
Yeah, not a happy picture, not nice at all. So, and then here, when I went, I was at the mercy of somebody else packing that chute. I don't know if he had too much to drink the night before and like maybe missed this or that.
It's
Okay.
part of it.
Yeah, well, it's a little like Russian roulette, I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Chris. Good to have you here.
Yeah.
All right, okay, super. So how are we doing with time here? We're doing pretty good. All right, so now we got to know each other a little bit better. You can see that I definitely have a relaxed atmosphere here, right? And so we want to go on to look at a little bit about chapter or module 1. Let's go ahead onto that. All right, so the slide deck for module 1, I'll go over that. Oops, wrong way. Here, let's try that again. Okay, so. All right, so basically with when we think about entrepreneurship, we think about anything really being possible. When you look at this satellite taking off, or this rocket, excuse me, taking off from a small little pad in the ocean. And, you know, years ago, this was an impossibility. You know, today, actually, we go beyond this and we can shoot rockets right out of the water. Right in the water itself, sitting in the water, a rocket can shoot without even having a platform to land on or to take off from. So we want to think about things as sometimes things seem like, oh, that's just so crazy. Where are you going with that entrepreneurial idea? Well, they start as maybe crazy or, you know, almost impossible ideas, and we try to bring them as close to reality as possible. So we don't want to tell you that's a crazy idea, don't do it. Let me give you an example. I had a student that came up with an idea, and I thought, I just, you know, said to myself, don't say anything, just don't say a word, because my immediate reaction was, that is a terrible idea. His idea was, I'm going to create this app that will have parents, remind parents that they left their child in the backseat of their car. Right, so I thought, terrible idea, terrible, right? Who is going to forget that their child is in the back of their car? Well, there were people that were doing this. They were forgetting that their children were in the back of their car. And so he went forward with the app. You know, I said to myself, I said, terrible idea, I never told him. He went forward with the app, created the app, sold it for a substantial amount of money to a municipality in a totally different country, Saudi Arabia, I think it was somewhere over there, and sold it there because people were leaving their kids in the farm. So I learned from that experience that do not say to anyone, and I didn't tell him anything. He went through with it and sold it. It was a few $1 million he made on the app. So yeah, there are some that make a lot more money, but you know, apps are really pretty good if you understand how they work and you know, the whole process and everything. But that was something that, so it ties in with this. I don't say that's a terrible idea. Try, see how it can work. If you have a customer segment that works for this, then by all means, go for it. All right. So we already did this. We did the syllabus review. We had these were the 3 major components of this course, right? So foundations, the principles, and then applying the principle. And well, this is just a slide here, how to avoid failure. You want to be present in every class, you know, whether Chris, you're going to be here in Zoom, or you're going to be here in the class that we can move forward with. You want to turn in your assignments on time. Please turn your assignments in on time, you know, or turn them in a little bit early. If you do turn them in early, just a little bit earlier, and what I do is I look in there every day, and if it's there, I will grade it. I will give you feedback. And if it's before the due date, I will give you feedback. And if there's something that you can make a correction on, you have the time to do that before the due date.
I love that.
Okay, so you do have the time to do this. So I encourage you, please hand in your work early so that, you know, and I know, this is how I work. I usually go to sleep at 8 o'clock every night. So if you email me at 8:30, I will not respond till the next morning. I do get up about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning though, and that's usually when I do my grading. So if you have submitted an assignment, like if you're a night person and you submit it at that night, that very next morning, by 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, I will have graded that assignment. Or giving you the feedback, and I will give you a grade and feedback, and I will tell you, go ahead and make the changes for an improved grade. So you can make those changes. The idea is that I want you to understand and learn the information. I don't want to penalize you because for some reason it wasn't presented correctly by me, or somehow you didn't get the information that I was looking for. All right, so that's how I operate. So please turn it in early because it works better that way for both of us. Okay, you want to read the book reading before class, or at least look into what's covered in each of those chapters through other sources if you're not buying the book. YouTube's good for that, right? Your ears for learning. Okay, so we have here. Oh, crisis is a terrible thing to waste. So more opportunity and more businesses are created from a crisis than any other time. So when you see some people will have tragic situations, but there are other people that can take advantage and make improvements as a result of those tragedies. So that's entrepreneurial way of thinking. When you see something going wrong, then how can you make it better? And it's just becomes part of your DNA in a way by just looking at things in a different way, in a different light. So here we use the term luck, meeting preparation. So there's a certain amount of luck to things. Sometimes timing is really important, right? So it's like, when do you decide to do something? If you're too early, well, then no one will want your product because they still need to be educated about it. So you sometimes need a little luck and in timing, and then you need to prepare properly, right? So you need to get yourself in a situation where you know you can get that work done and be sort of like an expert in your area there. Oops, let's go back. All right, so what is an entrepreneur? Anyone? What's an entrepreneur?
Someone who fixes a problem.
Okay, so someone who fixes a problem. Okay, that's good. Okay, good. So what is entrepreneurship? Go ahead.
Someone who, or I guess like entrepreneurship in general is like when like someone kind of thinks outside of the box, or thinks of a new idea to solve a recurring problem.
Okay, yes, solving new problems, right? So good answers. Anyone else want to chime in on this one? All right. I'm gonna answer that question very differently at the end of this course, I'm sure. Okay, so, but you're both right. You know, it is looking at things differently and how can you make improvements, right? So it's really the process of creating value by putting together a unique combination of resources to exploit an opportunity. That's our definition of entrepreneurship. So we're creating value, right? That's the main emphasis there. We create value somehow for people. And then we put together these resources and looking at the opportunities and maybe looking at crisis, we're looking at different things, but we are creating value somehow. So here are 3 entrepreneurs, and so everyone knows Elon Musk, right? And what he has done. Sarah Blakely, she's a familiar face. Robin Chase, does anyone know Robin Chase? Some do, some may not. Yes, okay. All right.
Techno, the laboratory.
Close.
I read the first chapter.
What is it? Was she what?
She was part of this technology that's come out on processing blood work or just.
Oh, no, I know who you're thinking. You're thinking of, that was Theranos.
Oh,
That-
yes,
That
yes.
was, what was her name?
There, this is the name of it.
Yeah, she was a very blonde though. Theranos,
It
Theranos.
escapes me, I thought, yeah.
Yeah, I said sketching. What were you gonna say?
Oh,
Robin Chase? No?
it sounds familiar.
Yeah, all right, so she has a familiar sounding name. We'll go into her a little bit later. But yeah, I wish I could remember her name now. Theranos is a very interesting story. If you have a chance to just look up some information. Does anyone have Netflix? Everyone? No? saying no, you don't have Netflix. All right, Netflix, it has a really, really good documentary on Theranos. Actually, it's not Netflix, it's 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes had a really good one on there, and if you don't have a subscription to it, then you can't look at the old episodes, which is a pain in the neck. But there are some good episodes on YouTube on Theranos and how she, interesting, what she had done, become really the richest woman in the world, and all on fraud. You know, so,
I got that
amazing.
far yet.
Okay, so anyway, Robin Chase's Zipcar. She came up with Zipcar. You know, Sarah Blakely was Spanx, and then of course PayPal, Tesla, and a host of other things. Right, going to Mars.
SpaceX.
Yeah, SpaceX, going to Mars. We also have some of our alum entrepreneurs here that have done some really good things. Here, this is an order of Wally's Deli here, Wally Crane. Alexis is an artist. Some of her work is in the background here. Here's a captain that does fishing trips. He's Captains for Clean Waters, so he has a little interesting twist, providing value in his way. We have different types of entrepreneurs, right? We look at, like, you know, for-profit entrepreneurs. There may be, you know, people who are like running a business and, you know, wanting to grow that business, typically sell the business or, you know, for money, or sell a portion of the business, or put it out for an IPO, which is an initial offering statement where you want to sell shares on the open market. And then you have social entrepreneurs who are really interested in social justice, and intrapreneurs. And then there's also entrepreneurs who work for companies that are called intrapreneurs, right? So they have the skill sets and the knowledge and the drive to be an entrepreneur, but they're working for an organization. And organizations love those type of people. So we have about 30% of entrepreneurship majors really don't want to start their own business. They would rather work for someone else, but understand and learn those skill sets so that they can have a competitive advantage in the workforce as a career. And then the other 2/3 wind up starting a business. We do have the Runway program. Has anyone gone in the Runway program? So the Runway program is an elective that as an entrepreneurship major, you can actually start your business. So it kind of forces you to do it. You know, sometimes as an entrepreneur, you may drag on starting it. You know, you're like, oh yeah, I'm learning, I'm still learning, I'm learning. Like, when do you pull the trigger and start the business? Well, the Runway program actually has you start the business. So they have things to have you started and, you know, get it licensed, get it ready to go. So you are actually starting the business. And there's opportunity to earn money as well. So there's pitch competitions where you can raise money for your business. Really wonderful. All right, so I would encourage you, when you know what business you want to start and you have done some research on your customer to make sure that you have the right customer for, or you have customers to buy your product or service, then I would encourage you to take the Runway course. All right, so 3 things about entrepreneurs, study of entrepreneurs. So, you know, certainly you can be taught to be an entrepreneur. You're not born with that ability. You know, you may have certain skills that you're grown up with that you may be more of an outgoing person as opposed to introverted, where you may be able to find it easier to speak with people. But I'll be interested to see how your assessment turns out, to see what quadrant you fit in. Because if you're lacking in some areas, you just find people to help you in those areas. All right, entrepreneurship never ends. You're constantly thinking of new businesses. So I owned and operated 4 different businesses, and I'm involved in another business right now, and I have another one that I'm starting. It doesn't end, because you're constantly thinking in that entrepreneurial frame of mind, where you're looking at things and how can I make this better? Oh, I can see a way to do this. I can start a business by doing this. It doesn't go away. It's sort of like, did anyone see the Matrix? You know, the blue pill or the red pill? So what was it, the blue pill? You live in eternal bliss, just the way you are in the pod. right? Where the red pill, or it might be the other way around, I don't recall, but the other pill was you take it and you're awakened and you see the reality of what's really going on. It's a little bit like that. You see the reality of what's really going on and you see possibilities. Once you started one business, you can start another. So the first business I started, I failed miserably. I mean, miserably. I started it, it was the mortgage business. I was a mortgage banker. I had things rocking and rolling. It was doing great. I was having a fabulous time. The market turned and I had already committed to a huge building that I was going to grow into. Well, interest rates, went sky high and no one wanted to refinance and no one wanted to purchase houses. The market was turning where prices were starting to drop like crazy, but no one was still buying because interest rates were so high. They were 18%. So a lot different than what they are today. Stuff happens. It was out of my control, but I learned from that experience and I started another business. Even though I failed miserably, I still had that entrepreneurial flame and I wanted to keep going. So I said, okay, what am I going to do next time to prevent that from ever happening again? So now, and always in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, I cannot get to that position where I get involved in something that's where I've leveraged myself too much and then grow into it. Now, I grow as I go along. That's what works for me. All right. Okay. So there are lots of resources to help you. I mentioned the runway program. There are lots of other things too. We will be working on this later on this semester. This is a business model canvas. And so one of the tools that we help us, we could write a lengthy business plan, but we are not in this course. And in the runway program, they do have a business plan that you do write. But by that point, you've already gotten enough information. You can chock full the information that's needed there. But here, what we're really looking for is our unique value proposition. What value do we provide to the customer? And who are our customers? Those are really important skills that we need to focus on. And we're going to go into this in more detail as we move along. But always keep that in mind. What value can you provide and who do you provide that value to? Who's the recipient of that value? And so how could you be a student entrepreneur? As a student, how could you be entrepreneurial? Anyone? Chris, you too. Any of these questions go for you too, Chris. Yes.
You could buy and sell stuff, maybe.
Okay, so you could start an entrepreneurial business as a student. Sure. Yeah, there are lots of students that start a business while they're students. So, I mean, you certainly can here in this program, but even outside of the program, you can still do plenty of things and buying and selling. And look how Michael Dell started. He was a college student and he offered to put together computers for students the way they wanted them. And that's what started his empire. All right, so the BOSI DNA. So we're gonna ask you to take that assessment as one of the assignments. We do have, now not on Fridays because we're not in class on Fridays. I actually taught this class Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week. Can you imagine? It was not a pleasant experience actually. Because it was 50 minutes per class. You just get started and the class is over. But we will do some Shark Tank episodes, okay? And they're kind of fun. We will have some of that as well. Please complete the attendance verification survey that I mentioned. So you will, if you have financial aid. If you don't have financial aid, it doesn't really matter, but it will take you only 2 minutes to complete. So the assignments for next class, attendance verification, the BOSI DNA assignment, and you want to record your information there in the discussion board. You want to complete assignment 1, the game minder. It's fun. I think you really enjoy it. It's a lot. I would think that a lot of it will be new information to you, where you may be thinking along one way and you may come up that the answers are really different than what you really thought they were. So it's interesting. And then you want to read chapter 1 of the Creator's Code, because the quiz will be in module 3. So module 3 is Thursday. Okay, so the way it works, that's it for this, right? So I want to stop sharing this screen. Lost my, see, I hate when that happens. Oh, there we go. Okay. I want to go back into the syllabus, which I have here. So here we have chapter 1 that we read for module 1. We have chapter 2 that we read for module 2, and then chapter 3 for module 3. So I'm just giving you a heads up on this. So the quiz will be on Thursday. Okay, so that's chapter, yes, so I'm telling you now in advance. So by Thursday for our class, you should have read chapters 1, 2, and 3. They're very brief chapters.
I really like them.
Oh, so you have it, you like it. All right, good. If you don't, please YouTube, get the information so you have a good feel for
It's
it.
interesting.
Okay, good. And then there is another quiz that we're doing. That one you'll do online. It's a social progress quiz. It's a very simple quiz. We'll do it in class actually, because it's so, I don't know. I'm not even sure if it's really necessary, but it's part of the curriculum, so we're doing it. Okay. All right. And so that's it. So how's everyone doing so far?
Excellent.
Good, good. All right. So I'm sorry this was lecture heavy a bit today. I went over a lot of things. Are there any questions at all on how we're going to be working this class, how the course will be progressing, what you will be doing? Are you okay?
These
Okay.
chairs.
Okay. Oh, they're terrible chairs.
Yeah, these are awful.
Oh, no.
You lean on them, they go up.
Yeah, you have to like
Chair
use
over there.
force.
You can fix it.
Sitting
on my
side.
Yeah.
Oh, you can? There's some ways to fix them?
Like, why do they bend like this?
You can't fix that one stay up?
No, there's a lever on the side that makes this back go up and down.
Oh, really? Which one? Oh, right there? Let's get that fixed so that everyone can be.
WD-40.
Yeah. If that one's not working, maybe another one of the chairs might work better.
It's not better.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, maybe against the wall is a better way. Maybe against the wall is a better way.
Thank you.
I don't even lean back, so. All right, so, any questions at all? Any questions? Chris, do you have any questions?
No, I do not. I'm good to go.
Okay, very good. So everyone will have either read chapters 1, 2, or 3, 1, 2, and 3, or gain the information from those chapters. So you're ready to go for the quiz on Thursday. Thursday afternoon, we're going to do that quiz towards the end. Or sometime, I'm not sure. Yeah, towards the end. And then we'll do the social progress as well. All right, so everyone's good. So we're done for now. We're done a little early. So everyone's smiling. Okay, good. All right, just want, if anyone wants to meet with me after class, please feel free to approach me. Chris, if you want to have a meeting with me, please feel free. You know, every single one of you are very important to me, and your success in this course is very, very important to me. So I know Maddie knows that. I've said that to her many times. So it is very important that you do well. And if you just have any kind of minor question, just ask me anyway, no matter what it is. I'm happy to explain it. Certainly, the reason you have the question is because obviously I didn't explain something well enough, or something needs clarity. Okay. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Thank you.
I'm relieved.
I felt a little overwhelmed.
Creators Code by Amy Wilkinson.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.